Hey everyone, welcome back to dansfera.com. Once again, that website address is dansfera. Just like my name, it's D-A-N, S like Sam, F like Frank, E-R-A.com. It's where I talk about business, entrepreneurship, things like that. For all you young entrepreneurs out there that are just getting started, or maybe even some of you older ones that are young at heart. Today's topic is very near and dear to my heart. Unfortunately, it's because I've had to deal with it numerous times. It's called working capital. And working capital, it sounds kind of harmless. It sounds like it's not important. You don't really hear people talking about it too much. It can get you, man. It can really, really affect your business and affect you personally if you don't understand what it is and how it affects your business. So let me first tell you what working capital is. Working capital is the amount of money that you need to run your business, to keep the doors open, to pay all the bills, pay all the suppliers, pay all your employees, buy the product or whatever you're doing, the service. It's what you need to pay in order to keep your business going. And you need to know what your burn rate is, meaning the amount of cash that you burn through before you get your payment. So in business, you rarely get paid the same day that you provide a service. And this is especially true for service businesses. For product businesses, it's a little bit simpler. But for service businesses, definitely the case. Sometimes you'll provide a service and you won't get paid for 30, 60, 90, 120, even longer. I know in clinical trials, I run a clinical trials company. Sometimes we don't get paid for a service until 4 months later. And we keep providing these services every single day. So the costs add up. And it's very expensive to keep the business operating. But when the payments come in, they're gigantic payments. So it kind of covers everything. So you got to know what your burn rate is. How fast do you burn through your cash? When are you getting paid? When are you expecting your payments to come in? That way your working capital cycle starts over. So it's very important for you guys to keep in mind how much money you'll need to keep your business operating at full capacity and when you're going to get paid so that you can project, how much you want to be spending. So if you're burning through your cash faster than you're getting it in, at some point you're going to have to run out of money, or at some point you will run out of money and you're going to have to make a decision as to getting a line of credit, getting investors to invest in your company. And by the way, I've done all of these things in the past, as well as using my own money. So understand working capital before you need to deal with it. You have to understand it and make sure that you put it in your projections. Make sure that you understand that this is the money I'm going to need to keep my business open and provide my service. In order to understand working capital, you really got to get a good idea and a good grasp of what your burn rate is, when you're going to get your payments, and when you're going to collect payment on the services. Now, a lot of people, what they do is halfway through their cycle, before they get their payment, they realize their payment's not going to come in until even later than they projected. So you always want to assume the worst. Assume that you're not going to get paid even longer than what you think you will be. Because what happens is, when people realize when they're halfway through their cash, when they've already burned half of their cash, when they realize that they're not going to get paid till later than they even thought, they get scared and naturally they want to cut costs. And what that causes is that causes quality of the service to go down. And then you get upset customers. And yeah, you may eventually get the payment, or you will get the payment, but what's the chance of you ever getting repeat business from that customer? So in the cases like that, you really want to either project better ahead of time and do a better job at forecasting, or you got to find different ways to finance it, whether it be asking your suppliers for an extension on when you can pay your bills, or getting outside investors, or getting line of credit, or getting a SBA loan, however it may be. But don't let it catch you off guard. This was one of my first lessons in business, and you rarely hear people talk about this in the entrepreneur circles. You'll hear it amongst entrepreneurs, but you'll never hear it like online or anything like that. Working capital is super important, and people ignore it all the time. So don't let it happen to you. Be accurate with your projections, understand what working capital is, and understand what your burn rate is so that you don't get burned. I hope this helps. It's dansfera.com. Thanks a lot.